Get a bit of shoulder out for the guys. Okay guys, this is not a fucking drill. The bitch has released new music. Welcome to this video treat. My name is Olympia of the Novympia Kingdom. I was gonna wear my girlfriend here today from the girlfriend video, but I sort of wore it the other day and I messed that shit up. But as an homage, I shall be wearing my Black Star Avril Lavigne for this. Smells great. Alright, we get it. I like the bitch. God, I'm such a dickhead. Okay, so Avril Lavigne has released a new single. Her music comprises, what, like 95% of the music I listen to because I am a loser. I was 12 when Let Go dropped. That was her first album. And you know how like someone's music will really like inform your teenage, angsty fucker years? That was like Avril was that for me. Each of her albums was sort of a different part of my like becoming this awful you. Awful garbage before you. Awful Garbage, the debut fragrance. If you've been to my channel before, if you are aware of me, you will know that Avril is sort of my like #1 bitch. I like try and kind of like, I'm inspired by her. She's my muse. Terrible person to pick as a muse. I should have picked Joanna Lumley. My favourite songs of hers are I'm With You and Nobody's Home. You know how these people leave an indelible mark on your lives? Well, that is Avril for me. She is my little peach lady. And this week she dropped a new single. Okay, so she has not released music for, I want to say 5 years, or just shy of 5 years. Her last album was entitled Avril Lavigne. It was her worst album of the lot. She's only had 5. You'd think she's been around now for a good, what, 16 years, and she's only had 5 albums, studio albums. So the last one was Avril Lavigne. It wasn't very good. It had some bangers on it, like 17, Bitch in Summer, Here's to Never Growing Up, and Rock and Roll. They're the best ones. The rest of them are, there's some dire shit in there, but that's fine. This new song of hers is called Head Above Water, and it is the first piece of music that she's released post suffering with Lyme disease. So if you don't know what Lyme disease is, it's not very well sort of spoken about, I guess. It's not very well known. It is an infectious bacterial disease spread by ticks, and it results in fatigue and the other symptoms. There's like headaches and joint pain and stuff and heart palpitations. It's very unpleasant. And she suffered with that for a while. I think it was undiagnosed for a while, which made it even worse for her. But this is the first single after overcoming that. And it's obvious to see that the main sort of themes are about surviving and overcoming a struggle. When we went to California not long ago, Nova and I bumped into a gentleman who said that his best friend is Avril Lavigne's PA. The dude basically said in so many words that she's difficult to work with, Avril, because she is constantly sort of locking herself away at home in a very kind of emotional state. Now when we met the dude, that would have been sort of just after the whole Lyme disease issue. However, you know, was that because of that, or was that because in other ways? She's had a very strange career, and you can understand why she might be a bit kind of at odds with herself, because Avril's had a very sort of, I compare her to M. Night Shyamalan in terms of their career, because she started out with sort of very adult songs. They were very kind of mature for her age, and they were the successful ones. And then as she got older, it started to become kind of not very well received. It's the same thing with M. Night Shyamalan. His movies to begin with were very kind of thoughtful and well received and stuff like that, but you know, as it went on and he sort of lost his way a bit, as he got older, he sort of had his career in reverse, as a lot of people would see it. I suppose the irony is that when she actually was a teenager, she was producing, you know, Let Go, Under My Skin, these albums were a lot more thoughtful, I think a lot of people would probably say, I would, than the later sort of ones, Goodbye Lullaby, you know, The Best Damn Thing, that sort of thing. So the music she's producing now, in a lot of ways, is less kind of complex and mature, because she's trying to recapture what she had as a teenager, which is the opposite of what she's actually doing in trying to be a perpetual teenager. Has lost some of what she had when she actually was a teenager. It's sort of disingenuous, that kind of idea. So, I mean, do I still love the music? Sure. But, you know, I love Lady in the Water, so let's not talk about that. I guess a way to sum it up would be, would 17-year-old I'm With You Avril, what would she make of like 28-year-old Hello Kitty Avril? Because you can bet your ass that there's like an inner dialogue battle going on there. She would look at herself in the future and be like, what on earth are you doing? Well, we don't really talk about Hello Kitty. So she is quite conflicted. Her music used to be more honest, I think, and now there's sort of a kind of artificial element to it, which is not quite grasping the kind of Avril that people fell in love with to begin with. She sort of managed to sort of rein it back in with Goodbye Lullaby. That was before the Avril Lavigne album, which was the worst one. Goodbye Lullaby was sort of a return to form. It seemed a bit more grown up. And I feel like this next album, which I feel like is probably going to be called Head Above Water, if being honest. 2 of her albums are actually named after songs. The Best Damn Thing, there was that song. And what was the other one? Goodbye Lullaby. The rest have all got different names. So I feel like it would not be out of the question for this album to be called Head Above Water. It would make sense. So this is her 6th studio album. She's supposed to be releasing this this year, 2018. Is it going to be just, you know, a whole barrage of soppy shitters? Maybe. I feel like her ballads are kind of where she's strongest. Well, when she used to do her angsty skater boy type stuff, that's obviously like the epitome of Avril. But I feel like her ballads are really where she shines nowadays. Because it's sort of a bit weird to see a 30-year-old on a skateboard in a high school talking about never growing up. It's sort of a bit odd. I don't need to grow up. So Head Above Water was released 5 days ago now. She said, she posted on Instagram that it was #1 worldwide on iTunes, which I don't really understand what that means. I feel like on the American iTunes, she got to 4, maybe, #4. I couldn't even see her listed on the UK one, to be fair. So I don't know if there's is there a worldwide iTunes chart? I don't think there is. I couldn't see that. So I don't know where she's getting her information from.
I just wanted to say, to save a million people commenting, there is a worldwide iTunes chart.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Nova has just informed me that there is, in fact, a worldwide iTunes chart that, of course, I knew about. I don't know these things. I'm old and stupid. So I did not call her a dirty liar. I didn't do that. Not at all. #1 on the worldwide iTunes it was. I heard that too. But ever since she released the lyric video on YouTube, it's been trending. I think it got to #4 trending on YouTube. Now, as of today, it was #15. She's teased this single. And I feel like this imagery, it's beautiful imagery. Is it going to translate to the album as well? Who knows? If the album's called Head Above Water, place bets now. Who knows? But she teased the single by releasing on Instagram a whole bunch of pictures. You know when people are really clever and they release 9 individual pictures and it makes a great big one on your Instagram feed? I can't do that because I'm old and stupid. But it's nice when people... Is it nice though, or is it just annoying? When people release a picture of like a shoulder and you're like, what the fuck is that? Just release everything in one go. Anyway, it's a cute picture. She's underwater. She's very kind of just like, well, that's shit. What was that? You know, her hair's all wet. Of course it's wet. She's underwater. But it's reminiscent to me of the kind of imagery she was going for with Goodbye Lullaby. Even the font in the lyric video for this song is very similar to the font she used for the Goodbye Lullaby album. I feel like the video is going to, when she releases the actual music video, it'll look a bit like, thematically, the video for Give You What You Like, which is off the last album, which was, they used that for like was it a TV show? One of those millennial TV shows. I mean, it was not a great song, it's fine, I'd never choose to put it on. But I feel like that kind of video would be in keeping with this new song. Also possibly Wish You Were Here. Do you remember Wish You Were Here? That was a great one. Actually, was that off the last album? No, that was Goodbye Lullaby as well. Yeah, that was a great song, but again, she's underwater, she's in the bath, she's very kind of just like that moment. So I have this weird kind of relationship with Avril songs where when I first hear them, I almost don't want to like them because I've loved basically everything she's ever written. There's a couple... There was a song on, was it the first, I can't remember if it's the first or second album now, called I Always Get What I Want. And I just used to get so annoyed because of her first 2 albums, they're perfect to me, apart from that one bloody song which I just wish wasn't there. But anyway, it's almost like I kind of want to say to myself, you're not gonna like it just because it's her. You can't like everything she does, that's ridiculous. And you know, there are more that I don't care for. But I sort of thought to myself, you know what, the verses sound great. My problem with it was, the verses I think in Head Above Water are stronger than the chorus. I don't know, I always think it's a bit odd when a verse of a song is stronger than the chorus. It's a really powerful verse. The chorus kind of gets a bit sort of fanny towards the end. Don't let me drown. I mean, don't let her drown. I didn't really care for What the Hell when that first came out. I was like, what a load of garbage. Miranda Cosgrove, garbage. And then fast forward 5 years, I'm still pumping it out of my ass. So I think the songs that you can most closely compare Head Above Water to, I feel like it's reminiscent of I Will Be, which was then covered by Leona Lewis. Do you guys remember I Will Be? That wasn't on an album, that was just a side fanny moment. But Leona Lewis covered that. Do you guys remember what happened to Leona Lewis? Where did she go? Or possibly When You're Gone. Will Head Above Water end up being as memorable as When You're Gone? I don't think so, because it is quite wordy. There are a lot of lyrics. Whereas a song like I Will Be is very simple, it's very easy to record. It's I will be all that you are. And then this one there's a lot of lyrics in the chorus in a kind of short space of time. So trying to recall the song, especially after hearing it a few times, it's not as catchy in that sense, because it's one of those you're trying to recall and you end up sort of making up some of the lyrics in your head just to kind of get to the end of a line, because you can't be bothered to look them up, can't be bothered. It kind of also reminds me of that song Alice, not because it sounds anything like Alice, because do you guys remember that? That was off of the Alice in Wonderland soundtrack for that movie. Weird song, fucking bizarre. God, that song's so weird. But she's shouting in that song. I don't think that song was very well received at all. But it reminds me of that in the sense that it is very, it's a vehicle for her voice. And Avril's voice is never something people discuss. It's not really what she's known for as being an incredible singer, but this is a very vocally driven song, Head Above Water. It particularly comes through when she says that her voice is the driving force, and she really belts it out. It is very crisp and serene, so the fact that her voice is kind of like the main thing here is a little bit different for her, which I just love. I think she has a very ethereal voice. I particularly like when it cracks and she's like, I can sing. And my voice becomes the driving force. You see a bit of Alanis Morissette, it goes. I think some of the other lines from the song that you can really take away as being beautiful is, so pull me up from down below because I'm underneath the undertow, which is, it's so strong. Is there just a clearer way of kind of conveying that anxiety and that kind of depression and frustration that she must have felt? That's just such a very clear, beautiful way of doing it. The song, obviously, the whole way through has got imagery of the ocean and drowning and kind of just like overcoming something physically. And when you pair it with the lyric video, which is very simple, serene shots of muted colours, it's the ocean, it goes underwater, there's cliff edges, and there's this beautiful font just kind of flowing over it. It's very simple. You don't need to dress it up too much, because some of her videos are so colourful and just so kind of just like, you know, that kind of idea. But this is so stripped back and so paired, and it just allows the kind of her voice to come through and the kind of setup of the song, which is mainly piano and strings and drums. The end of it is just so powerful. It does kind of remind me of Skyfall in that way as well, because Adele's voice is just so clear and it really is the driving force. There you go. Comes full circle. I'm so smart. Something I've always loved about Avril's songs, the bridge is always so impressive, I find. It is always just so powerful, so emotional. And this is no exception. It is, again, it gets stripped right back and it's just her voice, and then it comes booming in again with the chorus, but with nothing there, and then it finishes off with like an explosion of the chorus. Some of the bridges in her songs that I particularly think are great are like When You're Gone Again. That is such a powerful build-up. Or Innocence, that song was slept on. That was on the best damn thing, I think that was off. Innocence, great fucking song, great bridge. It's produced by a dude called Stephen Mocchio, who she hasn't worked with before, and this might be great for her because she got into a rut for several years. She did a lot of work with Dr. Luke. Obviously it's great that she got away from that situation, but I think it's going to really make people look at her in a different way. It's interesting that it's been 5 years, so she's going to, with this song, kind of if a lot of people are going to be talking about it, I think it's going to get some like word of mouth buzz, I guess. She might get like a whole new audience of people who may not even really know who she is, because she's been gone for so long, people forget about her quite easily. She promoted this as part of a playlist on Spotify called Friday Christian, which is a Christian playlist, and there are a lot of religious kind of connotations with this song. That she mentions God, she mentions kind of about being at an altar and saving men. There's a lot about kind of like a reference to a saviour, as it were. Avril's not ever been very vocal about being a religious person. I think she identifies as a Christian, perhaps is a spiritual person, and I don't necessarily mind that. I quite like a lot of Christian music because it is very uplifting and it is very powerful. So I don't necessarily mind that. Is this going to be a direction she goes in? Who knows? But I've got high hopes for the rest of the album if this one dude has managed to create this art. I'm not religious, let's just get that out of the way. Okay. But it's understandable that this would be something that she's been thinking about, and she has to kind of have hope in something after what she's been through. That's especially kind of, you know, obvious. I think she was brought up in the church and used to sing with the church. So whether that really went away, who knows? She doesn't talk about it very often, but it's not a very strong kind of feeling you get from it. It's not like a Bible bashing type thing, but there is a kind of crispness and a serenity to the song, which kind of, you know, it is in keeping with sort of having an adoration for like a higher power without being like, Jesus wants me for a sunbeam. So I do wish there was more like ad-libs at the end of the song. That's something I love about like Runaway, for example, is right at the end she just goes crazy, or Smile. I love Smile. She just goes crazy at the end with the ad-libs and she really kind of belts it out. And I feel like this could have done with one more of those. I had that problem with the Blair St. Clair song. What was that one, Now or Never? I thought right at the end of that she really could have afforded to just like go ham on it and it would have really made it special. So there isn't that much of that, and it sort of just misses that end kind of massive note or something that I was really hoping for. So that's a bit unfortunate. But with some headphones in, it really is a banger. Just stick some headphones in and put it on loud and you can't help but just be sort of swept into it because it is so powerful. And so all in all, I'm really happy with this because, you know, it's been a while for her. She needs something good. She needs something which is really going to sort of like bring her back to people's attention, because after Hello Kitty, did anyone think she was ever going to climb out of the toilet after that? Which I didn't have a huge problem with it. Nova and I performed that at the bar once. You know, in a very sort of, was it a cultural appropriation look? There's no evidence and no footage, so you can't tell me we never did it. But I wonder what the next song is going to be. If it's going to be another kind of like sloppy shitter. We need another like 17 or Runaway. Another one of those real like bangers. Here's to Never Growing Up was kind of odd. And, well, I mean, she kind of sells out sometimes in these videos. Listen, I know celebrities and singers use product placement in videos. But after a while, it's just so lame. Like, I think Here's to Never Growing Up, like people were trying to kind of like force it in a certain direction. So she's awkwardly like pushing up a boombox like, yeah guys. But if this is going to be something that's like really from the heart, then we could be onto a fucking winner. From the heart, not from the fart, like the last couple of albums were, from the fart. I said fart. So I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Does anyone care anymore? People don't remember her. People remember her, it's quite exciting. But do you, I mean, I did a video about Avril years ago about her being dead and being like a doppelganger. I don't remember what I spoke about in that, but she's just my favourite bitch. She's really not very good. Tell me what your favourite Avril songs are. Have you heard the new song? Have you bought it? Buy it. Let's try and get it to, I mean, it is #1 on the worldwide iTunes chart, which is a real thing, I'm telling you. It's not fake. Sound off in the comments below. Find our social media in the description box. And, do people say description box? I'm such an old person. That's like someone calling a remote a channel changer. Subscribe, join the Novympia cult and become an asshole. Alright, cheers then. Don't know what to do now. What have we got for tea? Fajitas. Fajite! Drown, drown, drown. Don't let me drown. Ah, you'd let me drown though. And a Wingardium Leviosa to our brand new patron, Catherine Terry. If you'd like to become a patron, visit patreon.com/Novympia.